Well, hey YouTube, this is Adventure In. Adventure In. I'm not going to edit this, or else I'll never get done with it. This is Adventure Vin, coming to you with all things for motorcycle riding and adventure riding, camping, focusing on my August trip to on Route 66, round trip Santa Monica to Chicago and back. So right now, I want to go over my pre-trip I did. I went up to Barstow, California. I live in Riverside, California, so getting up to Barstow was about an hour. It's an hour and a half drive on the freeways. So I want to go over that with you guys, tell you how it all went, how everything went, what I saw, and some lessons that I learned. So first of all, I was on my KLR 650. I left at about, I want to say 7 a.m. in the morning, and I got into Barstow, straight freeways. I didn't take any Route 66 on the way up. I got into Barstow around 8:20. I might have left at 6:30. That's about an hour and a half. And when I pulled into Barstow, I had passed Barstow so many times going to and from Las Vegas. I was really surprised a lot of stuff they had there. I did some still pictures that I put on my Facebook site, but I didn't put it on, link it to YouTube yet, I don't think. But I just wanted to do point out the place I stopped to eat in Barstow. It was called Roy's Cafe. Many of us may know of Roy's Diner. That's in Amboy. It's only Roy's Diner in Amboy, which is also in California. It historically was a motel, restaurant, and gas station. Today, the gas station is still operational and it's been restored. And you can go inside, and there's somewhat of a gift shop. But a really interesting place to eat was Roy's Cafe in Barstow, and met a waitress there, Amber. Her and I had some great conversations. So that was the first stop. The next place I went to was the Harvey House, which there are some previous video clips on YouTube of my experience of the Harvey House. I won't go too much into that. Then I went to, now here's where one of my mistakes had been made. Everything I had battery operated, except for the motorcycle. Everything battery operated yesterday or on the day of the trip died on me. I had very, very bad luck with batteries, and also I wasn't really fine-tuned technically on how to work my GoPro camera. So what I'm shooting with now is my Samsung 7 cell phone. What I did have with me on the trip, and I've used it before, is this GoPro camera, Hero 4. And what I did in addition for this GoPro is that I added a Sena backpack. So this on the back comes off. And what this does, it allows for mic communication to go directly to the GoPro from my helmet mic, which is attached to the Sena. This is usually around the side of my helmet. So I speak into my mic, this syncs up to my GoPro, got clarity sound, no ambient noise. I also went out and bought a standalone Sena, tomato. I apologize if anyone's offended that I'm not pronouncing it right. But I also went out and bought this device, which is a standalone Sena microphone. What the intention was is while my wife would be driving in the RV, and if we're on a trip together, in line of sight, I think 200 yards, in the RV, she could talk, send and receive communications to me on the motorcycle. These are all the same corporation. Sena match up, works perfectly, love it. What also I could do with this is link it up to this backpack, put it onto the GoPro, and I can clip it right here. And as I'm moving around, it picks up my voice and cancels out some ambient noise, and so you get clarity on voice. So when I got done filming the Harvey House, the Samsung battery was too low to record and needed to be charged. So what I ended up doing was hooking up my GoPro and filming the museum, the Route 66 museum and the train museum, strictly with my GoPro. And I didn't actuate these buttons correctly. So it looks, all you see is me walking around these two museums and I'm moving my lips. You don't hear any sound. Don't hear what I'm describing. It was very frustrating for me. I'm glad I live so close, so if I go back up there again to the Barstow Route 66 and the Barstow Train Museum, I'll do it again, film it again. One cool thing though, this two things that came into play that kind of saved me, was at the last moment I threw on my tank vest. So those who are watching my motorcycle KLR YouTube videos specifically about my motorcycle, I was explaining my tank vest, and there was one point where I pull out this waterproof box that had my electronics. As I headed out on Friday morning, I thought, well, I really don't need the tank vest. I'm not going to be gone all that long. But I said, hey, you know, pack as if you're doing Route 66, long ride, throw it on there. So I threw it on there. Lo and behold, my cell phone went dead. So I use my cell phone for camera, video, phone conversations, and tracking and maps, and it went dead. Luckily, I threw that vest on, and when I was in the Route 66 Museum in Barstow, the curators there said, hey, well, if you have a cable, just plug it in here. And yeah, I do. I have a cable. I threw on that tank vest. So luckily, I went out, got my Android cable and the USB charger. They plugged it in while I walked their museum, and then when I went to the train museum. So it had a really good amount of time to be plugged in. So after I did that, at that point I didn't know that the GoPro was not operational or not recording voice. So I went ahead and I headed down to my next stop, got my cell phone, headed down to the next stop, which was, it was in Helendale. Actually, I got a little journal, I was writing all this down. So my next stop was in Helendale at Molly Brown's Cafe, which was about 20 minutes from there. They closed at 2 o'clock. Further down on Route 66, going from Barstow to Victorville, there's another cafe called Norma Jean's. Both are pretty historic, depending on which one you want to stop at. Very reasonably priced, really great atmosphere. I got there, got Asian chicken salad to eat. It was really good. And then immediately after that, which you can see on the prior YouTube video, I stopped at Elmer Long's Bottle Tree Ranch. At that time, everything was going fine. Everything was going fine. I would budget about a decent half hour, 45 minutes in that Bottle Tree Ranch. It's just a very eclectic, amazing place to visit. Then after that, I'm still on Old Route 66. I went down to the Victorville Museum. At that point, my cell phone's charged, and I was able to film the Victorville stuff with my cell phone, my Samsung. Now, while I was there, here's what comes interesting. While I was there, I ran in, actually in both locations, I ran into a lot of foreigners from Brazil, Spain, England. Well, the one visitors from England, they wanted to go to the historic McDonald's museum, and I actually ran into them at the Barstow Museum. And what I want to point out to you folks right now is the historic McDonald's museum that is not really on Route 66, but close enough. I highly, highly recommend that you get in there and see it. This is from the brothers. This is the location where the brothers had their aerodrome. This is the location where you see in the movie The Founder, where the brothers were running their industry, their corporation. Obviously, Ray Kroc buys them out, and they end up selling the structure. I believe another structure is built there for a number of years, and then a guy, I believe his name is last name is Okura. He's the one that owns the town of Amboy. He bought the land and turned it into a museum, a memorial to the brothers. But you can also see a lot of McDonald history up to this point. I've donated a few items there myself. Before I go any further, though, I do want to point out that going back to this guidebook, I was going to point out to you where I was on at the Barstow Museum. So as you see here, Route 66 in this bold line. This is Route 66 and the bold line cruises right through there. The museum and stuff is right about here. Here's the train tracks. So it's important to know that while you're traveling Route 66, not everything that you'll see on YouTube or in books, it's not fronting Route 66. It's not touching that physical road. Sometimes you have to go a block or two or a mile or two to see some of these historic sites that are associated with Route 66, but not on Route 66. And that is also comes into play for the McDonald's Museum, which I'm going to show you how to get there too. Well, I was trying to explain to these people from England how to get there. Ironically, all they had was a notepad with some notes written down. No guidebooks, no maps. And I thought that was it was really unique to try to navigate that way. Now, there is something else I want to point out. From Victorville down to San Bernardino. From Victorville, you're going to jump back on the 15 south, the freeway south, and then you're going to go past some truck scales. If you're heading southbound, if you're heading westbound direction. And then you're going to see some truck scales on your right. The very next exit is Cajon, and you're going to exit Cajon, and that's going to put you on Route 66. Now, many of the maps, including the one I have here, show that Cajon is broken and you got to jump back on to the 15 south to finish your trip, which isn't true anymore. About 2 years ago, they reattached Route 66. So let me show you, and this is something else I need to point out, and I apologize if this becomes disjointed, but I need to mention this too, is that when you buy maps or guidebooks, make sure you get the latest edition, because things are always changing, always, no matter where you travel. Overseas, Route 66, Disneyland, get the latest update. Don't buy something and save a few bucks because it's last year's edition. More than likely, you're going to miss out on something. For instance, on this edition of this map, the map set, I actually have the 2006. I have 2006's map set. So this might have been updated. The same guy that does this map set, the Here It Is set, does these books. So this is a book of directions with maps in it. This is a map with directions in it. So you'll see how that works out. They're kind of correlated. But I'm going to show you something even on this map. This is 2006. Here, you're going to see the Cajon. I hope you can see it. Okay, right about here, you kind of see where it jumps off and then back on. Right here, Cleghorn Road, and then again I jump back on the 15. That all goes through now. That all attaches underneath the freeways now. The original Route 66 is now attached. I'm going to have 2 videos after this one where I pull off on my motorcycle and I'm pointing the off-ramp out that you're going to want to get off to start on Route 66 again. And then I'm going to show you the point where all the maps tell you to get back on. And I'm going to show you the forward direction of the brand new pavement that's there. This is after this video. The reason why I didn't want to jump into that video first, because unfortunately I wasn't using this mic and all you hear is wind on the first one. And I say something to the effect of how scary it was coming down the Cajon Pass in the wind. It was pushing me around, and what I say in the video, which you may not be able to hear, but I want you to see the landmarks I'm talking about. I say something to the effect of that this is a family channel. I don't want to use any strong language, so I said I was the effect of, if I was constipated, coming down the Cajon Pass would have definitely fixed that problem. It was very windy, and I was on my motorcycle, and yeah, it was a challenge to do. The other thing I want to mention about, if you're not from Southern California, there's 2 speeds on the freeways in Southern California. It's gridlock and you're going 2 miles an hour, or it happens to be open and everyone's flying. Everyone's going 80 to 90. That's the only 2 different environments in Southern California. But before I go any further, I showed you on that one little drawing map how the route was broken. So I'm going to show you on this one also. This is a AAA city map where it shows where Cajon is broken. You got to jump back on. A little harder to see maybe, but I really want to make this point clear, so I don't want you guys to miss it. Okay, so on this one, Cajon is here. Come on. Okay, this is Cajon, and there's a little break right there. This is where you jump back on the freeway. Then you come down the freeway, and it's telling you to get back off on Cajon down here. So boom, freeway, boom. But not true. You get on Cajon from Cleghorn Road, Cleghorn exit off the 15, and you're going all the way down to San Bernardino now. It's a really cool, I'm so glad they did it. And you'll see so many people using it on traveling as they travel on Route 66. Okay, now I'm going to discuss on how to find that McDonald's. So on both these maps, if you are just going on Route 66, once you connect to this Cajon Boulevard, it's going to come down into the populated city. And I will also say this, once you come off of here and you hit Mount Vernon, you're in congested city all the way to the beach, all the way to Santa Monica. At this point, it's stoplight, stop sign world. It's just slow moving. So your fast traveling, open space Route 66 experience really ends here, right at Highland Avenue, as Cajon Boulevard turns into Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon, you're going to make a right, head westbound on 5th. Makes a little bit of a dog leg, turns into 3rd, and as you see, there's a little 66 sign there. That's where you're going to start hitting a lot of traffic. Right around this area is the Wigwam Motel, the teepees that you'll see in some guidebooks. And then there's some onesie and twosie gems throughout, and then there's some other cool stuff in the city of Pasadena. So let's say if you want to go to that McDonald's, what you're going to have to do is, as Route 66 travels this way, the McDonald's is on the other side of the 215 freeway over here. So you're going to come down Cajon Boulevard, right when you see all the neon lights and the towns. It's either going to be Highland Avenue or 16th. I think 16th. You're going to come through here. You're going to make a left, head eastbound, go under or over the freeway. I don't know if it's an overpass or underpass. You're going to go over the freeway, over to E Street. E Street. When you get to E Street, you're going to make a right and travel past 14th, and it'll be on the right-hand side. Now, same author of the book, as he does his map, he does a depiction of it right. I had it pre-folded right to where I wanted to show you, and now I can't see it. Okay, here we go. So as he shows it, you're coming down. Here's the bold line is Route 66, and then you start traveling. He's showing it as this dot here. That's that dot. That's the McDonald's. It is not anywhere near hardcore traveling old Route 66. All what the maps will show you. Not anywhere near. You're going to have to deviate off Route 66 and then come back to it. It's well worth that deviation trip. That's a very unique museum. So I highly recommend it, but just know how to get there. People that are traveling GPSs, you might be able to just to punch it into your GPS, find it that way. Some of the things, if you decide to do that and come back and not backtrack on Route 66, what you'll be missing is just some, I think I saw maybe 3 or 4 motels that has some classic neon signs to them. But if you're a diehard and you want to be on as much pavement as possible, then backtrack. The McDonald's Museum, you'd want to give yourself 45 minutes to an hour. The deviation off and on Route 66 probably take you 15 minutes. So it's worth it. It's worth it. And then the same guy that owns that, right where this makes a hard turn away from there, he owns another chicken restaurant that has another little mini local Route 66 museum in it. And I'll go on site there. I'll do a more detailed video of his roasted chicken restaurant. I think it's Albert Acora, but I will do a video titled with his name. He's done the Amboy town, and we did Roy's Diner there. That's all him. He's the one that put together this McDonald's museum, and he's the one that also put together the Route 66 museum through a portion of his restaurant. So I forgot to mention to you guys right now, I don't know if you hear those mockingbirds. You kind of, when you're doing the video, you kind of tune out the ambient noise. But I'll tell you, it reminds me of that book, To Kill a Mockingbird. But you guys are probably hearing them more than I am. I'm at Verdugo Park in Glendale, California. Not too far, actually, away from Route 66. I stayed on the freeways, and I was able to see the bridge, the Pasadena Bridge, Arroyo Seco Bridge, which I'll do another video on that. But it was really cool seeing it from a distance. And I believe even today when I go back home to Riverside, as I pass it, I might do a video clip and try to incorporate that. I've seen so many people do it on the bridge, but from a distance, from the freeway angle, it looks really cool. You get a better eye picture of it. I grew up in a town near here called Montrose, California, and I remembered that bridge as a kid, but it was closed off at the time, and I always wondered what that bridge was all about. I've been on it since, but I haven't documented on it. Another thing I was going to mention is for your Disney Pixar fans, for the movie Cars, the first one, you see Ramon's body shop. Well, the body shop of Ramon's, they're actually depicting the U Drop In or the Tower Station in Shamrock, Texas. I'm actually going to spend the night at a motel very close to here, and I'll do videos of that. But you kind of see that in Cars Land also. So that's the structure that they redo in Cars Land, and that's what you see in the cartoon. Now, I'm going to tell you, the character of Ramon himself must have come from San Bernardino, where I was at yesterday, because people were driving very low and slow. Oh my God. I was on my motorcycle, and couldn't believe, I guess when you've been traveling such at a fast rate, but I'm talking, these people were going like 5 to 10 miles below the street speed limit. Oh, I was catching all the lights. I was, please hurry up. I went around this one guy, and all of a sudden I get behind this I don't know, young girl, maybe I say young, mid-20s, and like this white Toyota Corolla 4-door, and I'm in my motorcycle helmet, and I get this like a bucket of water was dumped on me. I start smelling that perfume. I believe it was poison, the manufactured poison. I've smelled it before, but it's strong, very strong. And I'm looking around. The girl has her windows down, and as I approach her car, it gets stronger, and as I pass it, it dissipates. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I mean, I don't think she can smell it on herself anymore. It was such a strong smell of her perfume. But after that, I went over to the, some more people are coming to the park. You might hear them talking in the background. But one other stop I made was at the, hold on. Okay, that was some people here were asking if I was using some of the grills. There's grills around. So that was interesting. Yesterday was the first time the day I was up at Barstow was the first day I did any video in public. And the funny thing is, most people in public they're accustomed to it. I talk real low, try to be really polite and discreet. And I walk into a room and people respond and they kind of back away and let me take a shot of what I'm shooting at, and they get quiet. But I'm really not trying to impose on what other people want to enjoy. That was really odd. They came up and just started talking to me about using a grill. One thing I'm going to say, I'm going to wrap this up, is when you go any place, when you're videoing or taking pictures, I believe it's become the norm. It's become our culture, where it is almost expected that we at least ask, hey, can we videotape? Can we take photos? I know that the Wigwam Motel in Rialto area where I went, I know they have I've heard of them having some specific rules and regulations about who's videotaping, what they're videotaping or taking pictures of. I swung by there yesterday and I just took a private picture of my motorcycle in front of the teepees. But just keep that in mind as we all travel, even if it's just in a public environment like this. Be cautious on who you might be capturing in the background. I mean, videos are going on internet these days. It's not just your home video where you have somebody in the background, but we're putting these things out in the public, and once they're out there, they go viral. So just have the common courtesy, because I think it makes it better on our community as people in videotaping stuff for YouTube. So going to wrap it up with this. I'm going on 22 minutes now. I'm not even sure if I can get this on YouTube, but if I might have to edit it. Hey, thanks for following along. I just kind of wanted to give you some ins and outs of my experience with my trip yesterday, and there's some other nuances I'll talk about, especially when it comes to electronics. So between now and then, remember to like, subscribe. Most importantly, if you're a motorcycle rider, get out there and ride. And life's an adventure, so make your journey a good one.